If a little girl started calling you mummy in your own house, but you live alone, would you answer her? My name is Rita Okafar. I'm a 33-year-old nurse at Chicago General Hospital. I live alone in a small 2-bedroom apartment near New Haven. I've never been married, never had children, and until 2 weeks ago, I thought I was ordinary. But now, my nights are no longer mine. Something has come to stay with me, and it calls me Mummy. It started on a rainy Thursday night. The rain that day wasn't normal. It came with thunder so loud, it shook the walls. Most of my patients had already gone home, and the hospital was almost empty. By the time I got home, it was past 10 p.m. The streetlights were out, the road was silent, even the crickets were quiet. When I unlocked the door and stepped inside, I noticed something strange. The air felt damp, thick, like someone had been crying in the room for hours. I dropped my bag on the chair, closed the door, and headed to the kitchen. And that's when I heard it. "Mummy, you came back." The voice was small, soft, a little girl's voice. I froze. My keys slipped from my hand and hit the floor. Every hair on my body stood up. I live alone. There are no children in my compound. I turned around slowly. The sitting room was empty, just my curtains swaying slightly from the open window. Then I heard it again. "Mummy, I waited for you." This time it came from the corner, where the shadows were thickest. I pointed my phone's flashlight there. Nothing. Just the old rocking chair I inherited from my late mother. But the air smelled strange, like damp soil and something metallic. I told myself I was tired, maybe hallucinating from stress. I took a bath, made tea, and went to bed. At 1:30 a.m., I woke up to a sound, a low humming, like someone singing a lullaby. I crept to the door and looked into the sitting room. And there she was, a little girl, maybe 7 years old, wearing a dirty white dress. Her skin was pale and wet, like she had just crawled out of water. Her feet were bare, covered in reddish mud. She was sitting on the floor, holding one of my framed photos, my graduation picture. Her tiny fingers traced my face in the photo. When she looked up, her eyes were pitch black. Not just dark, black, like empty sockets filled with night. "Mummy," she said softly, "you forgot to tuck me in." I couldn't breathe. I wanted to scream, but no sound came out. "Who are you?" I whispered. She tilted her head, a slow, unnatural movement. Then she smiled. "You promised to find me." Before I could move, she blinked and disappeared. No footsteps, no sound, just silence. I ran to switch on the light. Nothing. The room was empty. But muddy footprints trailed from the window to my bedroom door. Tiny, bare feet. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, I asked my neighbor, Mama Lillian, if she had children visiting. She said no. When I told her what I saw, she frowned and said, "Nurse Rita, lock your door before that thing starts eating with you." I laughed it off, pretended to be fine. But that night, I sprinkled holy water everywhere. I prayed. Still. At 1:30 a.m., the humming came again. Louder. Then, knock, knock, knock. 3 slow taps on my wardrobe door. I whispered, "Please, go away." The voice on the other side replied, "Mummy, I can't. You buried me here." My heart almost stopped. Tears filled my eyes. I dropped to my knees. The wardrobe door creaked open on its own. Inside was the same little girl, her dress dripping mud. In her hand, my nurse ID card. She looked up at me. Her voice sounded older this time, broken, echoing. "You didn't check the old hospital records, did you?" I stepped back, my body shaking. "Who are you?" The lights flickered. Muddy handprints appeared on the wall behind her, spelling out a single word: remember. And then she vanished. Since that night, I hear her every day. At 1:30 a.m., she sings in the living room. Sometimes she stands by my bed. Sometimes she crawls under it. I started recording the sounds, but every morning, the audio deletes itself. The only thing left behind is mud. Now she's no longer just appearing. She's touching things, moving things. Last night, I woke up to find her sitting beside me, brushing my hair with my mother's comb. When I asked what she wanted, she said, "To make you remember where you put me." Her breath smelled like wet earth. Her hands were freezing cold. This morning, I noticed a patch of ground behind my house. The soil looked freshly turned, even though it hadn't rained. There were small handprints in the mud, child-sized. I think I'm starting to remember something. A night years ago, before I became a nurse. A crash, blood, a little girl crying for help. But the rest is blank. And I don't know if my memories are real or if she's putting them there. Because now when I look in the mirror, I sometimes see her reflection standing beside mine, smiling. And she whispers, "Mummy, when will you come lie down with me?" I'm not sure how much longer I can stay here. I'm not sure who she is or who I am anymore. To be continued.